So good evening friends. In this slot I am going to study for 1 hour, and this is for my UPSC prelims preparation, and what I am studying is vision is compilation, environment material for sustainable development. So in this topic, first is World Energy Outlook. So World Energy Outlook. The report is released by IEA, so International Energy Agency. So about International Energy Agency, it has members comprising countries which are a part of OECD. So this was started in 1974 due to oil disruptions. Okay. So other publications of IEA. What are the other publications? First is the Global Energy and CO2 Status Report. Second is World Energy Outlook. Next is the topic we are going to see now is biofuels. So this is very important regarding environment or science and technology. So what are biofuels? What is it? So simple words, it's a hydrocarbon fuel. Hydrocarbon fuel obtained from organic matter within short period of time. So there are four different generations. First generation biofuels, second generation, third generation, fourth generation. First generation biofuels is obtained from food crops like wheat, sugar. So from this they will extract ethanol. Fine. So what are the second generation biofuels? This is obtained from non-food crops. So non-food crops include jatropha, wood, grasses, and organic waste. So again ethanol will be produced. Next, third generation is obtained from algae. So algae is converted into biomass. And fourth generation, it is a new technique where they will produce energy plus also capture and store CO2. So this is all about introduction of biofuels. What is biofuel? Hydrocarbon fuel obtained from organic matter within a short period of time. There are four generations of biofuel: first, second, third, and fourth. First generation depends upon food crops, example wheat or sugar, and from that we are producing ethanol. And second generation biofuels, it is obtained from non-food crops, jatropha, wood, grasses, organic waste. So from that we will be obtaining ethanol. And third generation, it is all produced from algae. From algae, a biomass will be converted into biofuels. In fourth generation, we produce energy and also at the same time we will capture and store the CO2. So, what are the steps government has taken to promote biofuel? Government steps to promote biofuel. First is, already we have national policy on biofuels, national policy on biofuels 2018. So this categorizes the biofuels as basic biofuels and advanced biofuels. So basic biofuels is first generation 1G, which is bioethanol and biodiesel. Next is advanced biofuel, which is second generation ethanol, and then municipal solid waste to drop-in fuels. Then third generation biofuels and bio CNG. So further, India has taken the following steps like ethanol blending program. In 2003, it was already started in 2003. According to this, ethanol is blended with what? That is petrol. Okay. Third government steps is Pradhan Mantri Jeevan program. Jeevan. So according to this, financial support to whom? To set up integrated bioethanol project. So integrated bioethanol projects will be set up with the help of government financial support. So this is all about biofuels. So what is a biofuel? What are the generations of biofuel? What are the government steps? National policy on biofuels has been unveiled, which categorizes biofuels, and ethanol blending program is already in place from 2003, and recently PM Jeevan program has been started, which provides financial support to set up integrated bioethanol projects. Okay, fine. Next is ocean energy topic. So why this is in news? Because recently Ministry of New and Renewable Energy has declared ocean energy as renewable energy. Why this is? Because if you are going to categorize ocean energy as renewable energy, then all the features and all the programs and subsidies or financial support provided to renewable energy will be now extended to ocean energy projects. So what are the various types of ocean energy projects? Ocean thermal energy conversion. Next is the tidal energy. Next is the wave energy. With regards to tidal energy, tidal cycle occurs every 12 hours. So harnessing that potential, we need at least 5-meter rise or change. So what are the apt location? Gulf of Cambay and Gulf of Kutch. Gulf of Cambay and Gulf of Kutch. With respect to wave energy, it is caused due to the waves hitting the shores. Okay, it is going more technical and would not want it in the exam perspective, so I am skipping it. Also, there is a current energy. CUR, current energy. So that's it with regard to just introduction and what are the technologies available, which is thermal energy, tidal energy, wave energy and current energy. Next topic is, just a minute, next is coal gasification based fertilizer plant. Coal gasification based fertilizer plant. India's first coal gasification based fertilizer plant is being set up at Talcher in Odisha. Talcher at Odisha. So where it is in Talcher, Odisha. So what is this coal gasification? What is meant by coal gasification? It is conversion of coal into syngas. Yes, coal into syngas. So syngas is a mixture of hydrogen, carbon monoxide plus carbon dioxide. So the byproducts of coal gasification include, coke, coal tar, sulfur, ammonia and fly ash. So coal gasification based fertilizer plant has been set up at Talcher at Odisha. So what is coal gasification? Coal is converted into syngas through some technique. Okay, so this syngas is a mixture of hydrogen, carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide, and the byproduct from this coal gasification is coke, coal tar, sulfur, ammonia and fly ash. So what is the use of the syngas? That may be asked in an exam. Use of syngas, such as produce electricity, production of electricity, then used in internal combustion engines, next making plastics, next in cement industries. So coal gasification based fertilizer plant. So it is first such plant is started at Talcher at Odisha. So coal gasification involves conversion of coal into gas, syngas, which comprises of H2CO and CO2, and the byproducts are coke, coal tar, sulfur, ammonia and fly ash. So what is the use of producing syngas? It is used in producing electricity, then internal combustion engines, making plastics and in cement, etc. So next topic is energy efficiency. Energy efficiency. So the first information is state energy efficiency index. preparedness index 2019. State energy efficiency preparedness index. So who released this index? It is by BEE, Bureau of Energy Efficiency. So BEE comes under Ministry of Power. So what is this index? It rates the states on energy efficiency. It rates the states on energy efficiency. So any other information? So it categorizes states into on three bases. First is it is not on three bases. It categorizes into four category, which is front runner, second is achiever, third is contender, and fourth is aspirant. So we don't want this in exam perspective. Let's know about which are the front runner states in energy efficiency. Haryana, Karnataka, Kerala are the three top performing states, top performers in energy efficiency. So another information with regarding to BEE is that Energy Conservation Building Code ECBC 2017. The code is given by BEE. It provides minimum requirement for energy efficient building. For energy efficient design and building construction. So next news, let's go to the next news, which is Kusum scheme. Kusum scheme is by Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. Which is Kisan Urja Suraksha Uttan Eva Muktan Abhiyan, Maha Abhiyan. So what is the aim of this? Provide energy security, that is the aim, along with financial and water security. So this is important, not just energy but also financial and water security. Also generate how energy security is provided. It is provided by solar power in their farms. So basically this is a scheme which promotes solar power to the farmers. So what is the aim of this scheme is to add 25,750 megawatts by 2022. So there are three components within this scheme, three components of KUSUM. Three components. What are the three components? So first component is setting up 10,000 megawatt. It is 10,000 megawatt ground mounted solar panels or something like that, and connecting it with grid. Okay. Next is off grid solar pumps. Off grid solar pump. Third one is solarization of grid connected electric pumps. Solarization of grid connected electric pumps. So what are the three components under KUSUM? It is setting up of 10,000 megawatt ground mounted solar panels and producing electricity and connecting it to the grid, and second one is off grid solar pumps, and third one is solarization of grid connected electric pumps. So these are the three features, and we have already seen what are the targets, under which ministry it comes, and what it aims for providing energy security along with financial and water security. So next is very important information, which is Ministry of Environment has released guidelines. Guidelines for what? It is for sand mining. So sand mining is a major issue in India, which is degrading the river environment. So what we have to know first is sand is a minor mineral. Sand is a minor mineral as per Mines and Minerals Act. Mines and Minerals Act 1957. So various states are already regulating the sand mining within the state, yet the environmental impact or the negative impact of sand mining has been very high, and it forces the river to change its course, stream bank erosion, lowers groundwater level. So at this juncture it is very important to restore the river to its own capability, and also we need to balance it with our own development purposes. I think this will help it. 667. So what are the guidelines says? So there must be a district survey report. First is what are the guidelines? It must be district survey report. District survey report. So what is the district survey report? Define mining and no mining zones. Define mining and no mining zones. So this is the first step you should be doing. Define mining and no mining zones. All districts have to create a comprehensive plan. All districts have to create a comprehensive plan. All districts have to create a plan. So third guideline is only abandoned streams. Prefer abandoned streams for mining. Rather than active channels, floodplains or deltas. So prefer this, okay, and don't prefer this. That's what they are saying. Again, no riverbed mining. Fourth guidelines is no mining allowed. No riverbed mining allowed in monsoon period. So no riverbed mining allowed in monsoon period. So again, fifth guidelines is use of technology. Use of technology like drone, mobile application, etc. Drone, mobile apps, etc. Sixth guidelines is annual audit. Annual audit must be conducted. Annual audit of mining leases. State government should develop an online portal. Again, online. Next one is online portal for sale of sand. So these are the various guidelines recently released by Ministry of Environment for sand mining. First is sand is a minor mineral as per the Mines and Minerals Act 1957. So what are the guidelines? Is a district survey report to define mining and no mining zones. And all districts have to create a plan. Abandoned streams must be preferred for mining rather than active channels, floodplains and deltas. No mining will be allowed in the riverbed during monsoon period. Use of technology and drones, mobile apps can be adopted. And next is the annual audit of mining leases should be done. And seventh is the online portal can be started by state government for the sale of sand. So next topic is the world of organic agriculture. World of organic agriculture. So what is organic farming? Organic farming excludes or reduces use of synthetic inputs such as fertilizer, pesticides, hormones, etc. So in the world of organic agriculture, there must be producers, consumers, right? So who are the top producers? Include India, Uganda and Ethiopia. Which is the biggest consumer is the United States, which consumes 42% of organic food produced. So being this, what are the steps India has taken to promote organic agriculture or organic farming? We already have PKVY. It's Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana. So which is a part of National Mission on Sustainable Agriculture So how it is promoted? How Krishi Vikas Yojana, Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana is promoted through cluster approach. Cluster approach in villages. That is creating organic villages. Organic villages. So what are the certifications available in India? Certifications available for organic farming. So first we have NPOP, National Program for Organic Production. Under Department of Commerce. So this provides certifications. For organic produce. Next, APIDA also helps. We already know this. APIDA under Commerce Ministry. This also promotes organic foods. Next is the PGS India, Participatory Guarantee System of India. So what does this mean? It is a quality assurance initiative that is locally relevant, emphasizes the participation of stakeholders including producers and consumers, and operates outside the frame of third-party certification. So it is a decentralized organic farming certification system being implemented by Department of Agriculture. So again, this is decentralized. So this is a decentralized organic farming certification. So this is a decentralized organic farming certification system under Ministry of Agriculture. So what is organic farming? We have seen this in the world of organic farming. What is organic farming? Excludes or reduce the use of synthetic inputs like fertilizer, pesticide, hormones. So who are the top producers? India, Uganda, Ethiopia. And who are the major consumers? It is US and maybe other European countries. So what are the steps India have taken, like Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana, which is a part of National Mission on Sustainable Agriculture. The approach is like cluster approach, creating organic villages. So what are the certifications available and what are the schemes to promote organic produce? It is NPOP, National Program for Organic Production under Department of Commerce. Certifies the organic produce. APIDA also helps in promoting organic food exports. Which is under the Ministry of Commerce. So both are under the Ministry of Commerce, and under the Ministry of Agriculture, it is PGS India, Participatory Guarantee System of India. It is a decentralized organic farming certification. So it is a decentralized organic farming certification. So next topic under sustainable heading is sustainable livelihoods and adaptation to climate change. So this is a training program under NIRDPR. It's National Rural Development and Panchayat Raj. It's National Rural Development and Panchayat Raj. It is funded by, it is a certification program, so it is funded by UNFCCC. So how it is implemented? First, let me write what is the scheme: Sustainable Livelihood Adaptation to Climate Change. SLACC. Sustainable Livelihood and Adaptation to Climate Change. So it is going to be implemented via MGNREGA scheme along with Mahila Kisan Sashaktikarn Pariyojana plus other centrally sponsored scheme. So what it will be done? What is the program under this? Is it is aiming to create 200 cadre of climate smart community resource person. 200 cadre of climate smart community resource person. So CRPs, climate smart, 200 cadre of climate smart community resource persons, which include farmers and progressive young professionals in villages. Okay, so another information associated with this: what is Mahila Sashaktikarn Pariyojana? Mahila Kisan Sashaktikarn. Mahila Sashaktikarn Pariyojana. So it is a sub-component under DNRLM, Deen Antyodaya Yojana, National Rural Livelihood Mission. So what is it aims? It aims to improve the present status of women in agriculture. Improve present status of women in agriculture. Okay. So what are the other news is important under the heading of sustainable development? Earth Overshoot Day. So Earth Overshoot Day it is calculated by WWF plus Global Footprint Network. This question was asked once in UPSC. So this date coincides where the humanity has exceeded what that Earth can generate over the entire year. So next is the Pace Setter Fund. Phase Setup Fund, Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. So Phase Setup Fund is by Ministry of New and USA. So this is a joint program by Ministry of New and Renewable Energy plus USA, where projects are granted funds to commercialize it. Okay, so funding will be provided to projects to commercialize the green energy products. So with this, the sustainable development topic under mission compilation has been completed. So we started with World Energy Outlook by International Energy Agency and OECD 1974. Other publications are Global Energy and CO2 Status Report. Next we saw about the biofuels, first, second, third, fourth generation, and from which they are produced: food crops, non-food crops, algae, and fourth is the producing energy, also capturing and storing CO2. And what are the government steps taken? National Policy on Biofuels, Ethanol Blending Program, PMG1, which provides financial support to set up integrated bioethanol projects. Next is the ocean energy, where Ministry of New and Renewable Energy has categorized it as renewable energy. So what are the technology available is the ocean thermal energy. Next is the tidal, wave and current energy. Next is the coal gasification based fertilizer plant. So it is being set up at Talcher in Odisha. So what is coal gasification? Coal is converted to syngas, H2CO plus CO2. What is the byproduct of this coal gasification? We have seen that. So what is the use of syngas? Producing electricity, internal combustion engines, making plastics, cement industries. So next topic is the energy efficiency, state of energy efficiency preparedness index. It rates the states based on their energy efficiency. So there are 4 categories of classification of states: front runner, achiever, contender, aspirants. The front runner states are Haryana, Karnataka and Kerala. So ECBC is a code given by BEE for energy efficient design and buildings. Next is the Kusum scheme, which is Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, which provides energy security along with financial and water security, which simply means this scheme focuses on setting up of solar power plants and generating solar power through farmers. So what are the 3 components? It is setting up 10,000 megawatt grid connected ground mounted solar panels. Second is the off grid solar pumps. Third is the solarization of grid connected electric pumps. So fifth news is regarding the guidelines of sand mining. What is the sand mining? So how district will categorize mining and non-mining zones. All districts will create a plan and abandon streams for mining, and active channels and flood plains and deltas can be excluded. No mining will be allowed during monsoon periods. In the riverbed, use of technology like drones and mobile apps. An annual audit of mining leases. So world of organic agriculture, organic farming, what does it mean? Who are the producers? Who are the consumers? Next is the Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana, which is a part of NMSA, cluster approach in villages and organic farming. Certifications available for organic farming. What are the certifications available with the Ministry of Commerce and Ministry of Agriculture, which is PGS, Participatory Guarantee System of India. Next is the SLAAC, Sustainable Livelihoods and Adaptation to Climate Change. This is a program which is being done by National Institute of Rural Development Panchayat Raj, where 200 cadre of climate smart community reserve persons will be identified and trained and certified. It is implemented and funded by UNFCCC and implemented by NIR DPR. Mahila Kisan Sashakti Pariyojana, which is improving present status of women in agriculture. So next news is the Earth Overshoot Day, which is calculated by World Wide Fund plus Global Footprint Network. And the last is the Pace Setter Fund, which is by Ministry of New and Renewable Energy plus USA. What is this? Is providing funding to projects to commercialize the green energy products. So with this, a topic under environment has been over, and I end this session. Thank you.